Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Everybody's working for the weekend. Taking care of business every day. Now it's wow, welcome to working week.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Minimum wage.
Okay, and welcome to another edition of The Working Lunch.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Doing well so far.
So for those that are new to the show, I'm Jeff Turgeon. I'm the Executive Director over at the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board, and I'm joined by Sean McGauley, our
Also
communications person.
Also at the WIB.
And so welcome to another episode of The Working Lunch. We call it the hardest working...
You don't introduce the super producer?
Well, I was gonna get there. The hardest
Didn't
working...
seem like you were going to get there.
Well, fair enough. So our super producer, Bob Zakowski,
the man behind the scenes.
With the golden voice. We ought to have you in front of the microphone. I think folks would rather hear your dulcet tones instead of my twang.
We like your twang.
So welcome to another episode. We've got a lot of good stuff planned to talk about as usual. Lots happening in the world around workforce and job training, workforce development, employment related issues. As the executive director of the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board, that's the board that looks at really kind of bringing key stakeholders together around a common table to talk about workforce related issues here in Central Massachusetts, Worcester and Southern Worcester County, 38 communities in total in Southern Worcester County. And how do we go about making sure that our local economy has the workforce it needs to grow and to thrive? So really helping support businesses. Our board is made up of business members along with representatives from economic development, other state agencies that work with workforce-related issues such as seniors, mass rehab, small business assistance. We also work with housing authorities, and also included our education and training providers. So, and I know our first guest is going to be coming on in a minute, Vice President of Enrollment, Stephen Budd from Quinsigamond Community College. So we'll be bringing him on in a few minutes. How you feeling today?
Feeling good today. It's middle of the week, starting to feel good.
It's also beautiful springtime.
Yeah, it's nice outside.
Great
Everything's
time in Worcester.
blooming.
Everything's blooming and booming. So feeling a little edgy today. I went over to Eric's La Patisserie over the
great
other,
coffee over there.
Yeah, the other location. He's moved
Oh,
all
the
his
one on
operations
the
over
tower.
up over to the Tower Building, 4th floor. What a beautiful location he has there, though. It's great panoramic view of downtown.
Oh, nice.
Got
I haven't
myself
been up there
a
yet.
great iced coffee from him. And so it's great to have that caffeine surging through
so it's
my
like
body.
caffeine kind of thing.
Yeah.
I thought you meant edgy as in edgy.
Yeah, that was I had a little goatee going last. That was when I was feeling a little edgy. Now I'm just
Just
kinda
edgy,
now just
caffeine,
edgy.
like
Yeah,
edgy.
Well, you don't have to say it like that. That now I sense you're mocking.
Not at all.
Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and bring? I know you're going to slide over, and we're going to bring in Vice President for Enrollment at Quinsigamond Community College, Mr. Stephen Budd. Stephen, why don't you have a seat here?
Hey, thanks.
Sean, don't go too far. We might need you at some point. You never know. It's not break time, my friend. All right, so thanks and welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
For coming out. Now, you're fairly new to campus?
I am. I've been at Quinsig all of 2 months.
Great.
Actually, 3 months.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got to campus? I know you've got some experience up in New Hampshire and other schools. So why don't we talk a little bit about you first and how you made your way to Quinsigamond Community College?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, I was I've been in Massachusetts higher ed for about 30 years and took a little foray up in New Hampshire for the last 6 years to be the president of a community college up there. Good experience, but I was feeling like getting back to Massachusetts again. So We had some departures from Quinsigamond, and my good friend, President Gail Carberry, brought me in as an interim for a while. So happy to be here, happy to do the job.
We're certainly happy to have you here in the city. I know you've got a lot going on campus, as always. The school has just been doing tremendous work, and has had tremendous growth over the past several years, which has created obviously a lot of great opportunities for people, but from a campus perspective has made a lot of challenges for you and for the staff over there. So, and one of the big projects I know that Quinsigamond Community College is actually the lead on is a statewide $20 million Department of Labor grant for transformation of kind of the community college network and services in Massachusetts. The actual name of it is the Massachusetts Community College Workforce Development Transformation Agenda Grant.
Yes.
Can you speak to us a little bit about some of the work that you're doing there?
Yeah, I sure can. You know, one of the things that we've recognized in certainly the community college system, but in higher ed across the board, is that, you know, when employers need people to fill jobs, they don't need them 2 years from now, and they don't need them 4 years from now. So one of the things we're working real hard on doing, Jeff, is you know, looking at ways that we can take our 2-year curricula leading to associate degrees. Can we break them down into shorter term certificates, yet giving students the opportunity to complete a certificate, maybe then enter the workforce for a while, but to come back and build on that certificate and kind of work their way in stages towards a degree.
Sure. And I know that we're also the Workforce Investment Board and our Career Center, Workforce Central, are also strong partners with that effort here locally, and statewide the workforce system is strong partners with the other community colleges. And I also know, I mean, it's a very ambitious grant. I mean, there's kind of 3 or 4 main things going on with it. You'd mentioned the accelerated learning. There's also an effort around coordinating the processes from each campus standpoint, making sure it's a little bit easier for students to transfer from one community college to another, for business and for the public to understand the programs and how what equals what. So if you're taking an entry or a basic level course in economics at one campus, what does that class equate to at another campus? Kind of making the coordination between the campuses work out. And you also mentioned too, aligning it with workforce and looking at the programs that you're offering to see what trends are out there from the employment standpoint, what new programs might be brought on. From that standpoint, there's some new programs I understand that Quinsigamond Community College is working to bring online for this accelerated type of training. Do you want to mention some of those programs?
Oh, sure. I'd like to talk about that. And, you know, the whole notion of working together across the 15 campuses is, an action that the time has come.
Sure.
You know, we enjoy our independence as individual campuses, and we've preserved that in terms of having local leadership because, you know, one of the hallmarks of community colleges is local governance.
And not tied to the communities they serve and not what's going on in Boston per se.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, while we do have employment needs that are common across the Commonwealth, there are particular pockets of need that may vary from east to west. And that gives the individual colleges an opportunity to focus on those kinds of programs that are important to employers in their neck of the woods, but at the same time talking more around better transferability of credits to other colleges and some common curricula also help to bind us closer together, you know, in a coordinated effort to serve the needs of the citizens statewide. So that's real important.
And I know that you're moving towards developing, we had mentioned the accelerated programs, moving towards in the healthcare, several of those offerings to put them onto a certificate path in a quicker manner.
Absolutely.
For those. And I know that's something that we hear from job seekers a lot too. If there's some retraining needed or helpful for them to get back into the labor market, again, they don't want to wait 2 years to complete a program and be, you know, a more viable candidate for employment. They want something that's going to help them as soon as possible. So having a certificate, and there's this element of, stackable credentials. So,
yes.
you know, along the way you can you can kind of mix and match the different certificates, and then they add up to a larger, kind of career path or credentials. So a lot going on in healthcare, and there's some other stuff going on too,
Oh,
right?
a lot of stuff going on in healthcare. Yeah, we're a number of existing certificate programs that have been a year in length, maybe more, are being packaged in accelerated formats. What that means, outside of higher ed jargon, is that they can be delivered, not the traditional 3 days a week, maybe 5 days a week, maybe offered over 3 months rather than a typical 4-month or 15-week semester. And I think along with that, Jeff, it's important for us to think about, alternative start dates and end dates. We've always operated on a 2-semester model with a summer program, and that's been very robust. But we also realize that we've got to start some programs mid-semester. So there'll be opportunities to come to the college and take advantage of some of these programs, throughout the year. And get credentialed fairly quickly, get into the workforce. Many of them are in healthcare-related areas. EKG technician and phlebotomy will be one of the accelerated certificates. Also, pharmacy tech is also another real popular one.
And it certainly makes sense for us to work closer together from a workforce system side and a public, on the public side, and on the public side, the education side too. And the community colleges play a tremendous role in preparing, people for careers or next steps and the like. The other big news, of course, is your work to open up a new downtown campus location.
Very excited about that. Very, very excited about that. It's really time to be downtown. And, the focus there is there'll be kind of a soft opening, if you will, by January of next year, December.
So rolling in some programs, but not necessarily the
that's right.
full offerings that you eventually will have.
That's right. But that really will be the locus of many of these healthcare departments. They'll move wholesale from the campus up on Boylston Street, downtown, and be part of the downtown community. All those students do clinical placements and other kinds of hands-on experiences with employers around the region.
Our workforce office is downtown already, and it's great to see. A lot of times coming to work or going out for lunch or whatever, we'll see a lot of young people around downtown. There's more student housing that's there now, and more to come. Of course, the downtown campus for the Mass College of Pharmacy. So you see a lot of vibrant energy downtown with those students and what they're bringing to the culture of downtown. And of course, you've got businesses that are now springing up to cater to them and to help serve them. So having that downtown, it really does change the feel. So having more students and more people coming in for that, should be another great addition to the downtown area. So.
We hope so. We can certainly feel the vibrancy downtown.
And I know you're working with the folks over at the Worcester Business Development Corporation to help build that out and to develop that space. And it sounds like sounds like it's a wonderful partnership to really renovate that building from what it was to where it's going to be. And I know there's talk about putting in an innovation center and helping people move from ideas and concepts and research into new jobs and new companies and springing off those new companies. So lots of good stuff happening.
Yeah, we want to be part of what's happening. We know that, like you said, that downtown is vibrant. I've only been in the Worcester community 3 months now, and I can tell you it's a hopping place.
Well, I also know that the college has done great work to make partnerships outside of Worcester as well. Whether it's down in the Boxstone Valley area and reaching out to some folks down there, out in the southern Worcester County area. We're actually the Southbridge Workforce Central location there is actually co-located in the same building as Quinsigamond Community College's satellite location in Southbridge. So it's a neat synergy that can develop, and it furthers our kind of joint programming that we work together on. So.
Yeah, the philosophy of our president, Gail Carberry, has been to bring the community college to the people. And, of course, that resulted in a significant center that we have in Southbridge right now. But there are conversations going on in the Marlborough area. There are conversations going on in the Blackstone Valley. thinking first of working with school principals and superintendents and seeing what we
Existing
can do.
facilities
Yes,
that are-
existing
that are out
facilities, see
there.
what we
Makes
can
sense.
bring there and let it grow from there.
And I also, we're always looking too to help spur further training, further education opportunities in our region, and to have those facilities used after hours, those high school facilities, especially the some of the beautiful vocational technical high schools that we have, not only here in Worcester but also whether you're talking about Bay Path, which
Yeah,
is
sure.
undergoing
Yeah.
a major renovation there. Dr. Zukowski, you're familiar with that project. What's the? It's like a multi-million-dollar.
$73.8 million renovation addition. The addition will include 8 new science labs in all classrooms.
Yeah.
And the renovation is the rest of the facility.
So they, like Worcester, do programming not only during the day with traditional high school students, but also after hours with adults. And so after that renovation comes, we're always looking to help spur further options for adult students.
What we'd like to see happen too is not only bring in adult students who might study at those different sites, but also, talk to the faculty and administrators about how we might offer courses for high school students currently enrolled in high school to pursue community college courses and get a jump on the degree.
Exactly. So which is something that dual enrollment or co-enrollment
Exactly.
really saves them and gets them a jump start on college education to get them going in the right direction, or at least really thinking about that next step. To have a few college credits, in your back pocket, so to speak, when
Yeah.
you graduate high school. Boy, I would have loved that opportunity. Would have saved, obviously save some money, some time, and really get you kind of prepared mentally, I think, for that next leap, right?
Yes, absolutely. Whether your intention is to go to the community college in the first place or transfer to, a college of your choice, it's a jumpstart.
So we're talking with Stephen Budd, the Vice President of Enrollment at Quinsigamond Community College. In many ways, what we consider the flagship community college in the Commonwealth.
Well, I think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure we can officially use that title, but we'll go with it.
Well, here
for
in
today.
Worcester, we will certainly.
Yes. So, is there anything else? I don't want to before we do have a little thing we're going to wrap up with.
Yep.
Before segment, we're going to wrap up with you. But before that, is there anything else that you wanted to mention today? Anything else that we may have missed in covering that's happening on campus?
Well, let me
The
say-
graduation coming up, I imagine. Too.
Yes, and I want to speak to that for a second. Take this opportunity to tell the listeners that we have changed our graduation day and location.
Really? Okay.
And that is just breaking news. We did this yesterday, folks. With the impending weather for tomorrow and Thursday, we were going to graduate on campus at 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoon.
And the weather does not seem friendly for that?
The weather does not seem friendly. We're in a tent with metal poles, and the prospect of thunder and lightning really caused us to think through that
Yeah, that might not
yesterday.
be the best, yeah.
No. So what we're going to do, we're going to be at the DCU Center on Friday at 4 o'clock.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So
Boy,
we're
I'll tell you,
getting the
to
word
be
out
able to-
as much as
I'm-
we can.
I'm sure
but,
there's a lot of folks on campus really working hard to make that change. That's a big
Absolutely.
event, and it'd be like changing, a massive wedding 2 days or 3 days beforehand. That's
Feels like
seems
it,
like
Jeff.
it'd be just an amazing. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here.
thank you.
instead of helping out with that. So that's an amazing thing. And of course, speaking of storms and everything, that campus. In the news, today and over the last few days here with the tremendous damage and the storm that had gone through, the tornado that had gone through out west, and so the campus has a history in the big tornado from 1953. So
Yes.
so obviously, to be sensitive to that location, being up on a hill. That's probably very wise. Although it's a lot of work, probably a very wise choice.
No, it's
so.
a lot of work, and I know some disappointed people, but just it's the best we could do,
Sure.
and want to be safe. That's
Well,
the
that's
bottom line.
that's the bottom
That's the
line
bottom
is to
line.
keep that day. So on a more positive note, perhaps we're time to play a little thing that we do from time to time with our guests. It's a little game we call "You Do What." Did I say that right, Sean? You do what?
It's a little higher at the end.
You do what?
There.
There we go. So
All right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to read you 3 job titles with a brief description, and you've got 2 of them our fictitious. There is one real one. So you have to tell me which one is real. And we've got a theme. We'll see if you can guess what theme these three kind of coalesce around.
Okay.
So the first one is cheese pounder. This this person operates a punch press machine used to settle and shape certain types of cheeses. Sean tells me Gouda cheeses is one of the cheeses used.
It's a pounded cheese. I don't see that on the label, Sean, but
The next is, so we've got cheese pounder. The next is egg breaker / sniffer. And this person manually separates the egg yolk from the white and smells them to ensure freshness, okay, to determine freshness. So egg breaker / and the last one is chicken beak collector. Now this person manually gathers the remnant beaks following meat processing. So we've got three. Can you see the theme there, though? We just don't throw out crazy titles. A lot of thought goes into this to make it,
Okay, we're pounding cheese, we're sniffing eggs, and we're
Cheese,
collecting
eggs,
beaks.
and
Well,
chickens, right?
there's a culinary connection here.
There you go. And you
Jeff,
have a great
but,
culinary program, I think.
Oh,
that's
yes,
in college.
absolutely we do. Thank you.
So there you go. So there's perhaps some of these jobs available on campus in your campus. So here's your choices again: cheese pounder, egg breaker / sniffer, and chicken beak collector. Which one? And there is a prize. Which one is the real job?
Okay, I'm going with beak collector.
That is a very good guess. Sean, do you wanna weigh in on? No, you know what? You don't have a microphone handy, so I'll just go ahead and do it. It is actually the egg breaker sniffer. As
What do you do with a broken egg?
well, that apparently there's some folks out there that only want the yolks or the whites,
yes,
and so
okay,
this person
all
is
right.
the person that separates. And while they
Okay.
do that, they need to smell them.
Yes. The chickens, actually, the beaks are cut off when they're in the cages before they even go to processing.
Now, I'm curious to know how you
I'm
would know that.
rationalizing this away, Jeff.
Oh, okay. But do
why
you
did
know
I do
that for a fact?
I do know that because I've raised chickens, and we do that to prevent them from pecking each other and hurting each other.
Oh, that's a very
we
good.
clip the beaks, yeah.
So,
I guess they're clipped again, though.
yeah, no,
processed,
that was fictitious. So, I'm surprised you didn't catch me on that one. There you go. You never know what
no.
someone's background is gonna entail and what they're gonna know. So again, Stephen Budd,
Thank you.
Vice President of Enrollment at
Yes,
Quinsigamond Community
tell
College.
the folks, come to Quinsigamond Community College. There's room.
There you
Registering students now.
Thanks again for being on. So
Thank
there you
you.
go. So and they can contact. Obviously, there's a great website they
Yep,
can go to.
website, admissions office.
That's probably the
Good place
easiest
to
way
start.
to start for more
Yeah,
information.
and I can't forget financial aid either.
There you go.
That's important.
So thanks again for
Thank
being
you.
on. Stephen Budd had mentioned Quinsigamond's graduation's coming up and has been moved. But a lot of colleges graduating this time of year.
Time of year,
A lot
right?
of graduates flooding the job market. Some faster than others. Now you seem to me the type that after you graduate, you went to college and graduated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you seem the type maybe you tramped around. I'm not going to say Europe. I'm going to say like you did like the
backpacking
you
in
did
Europe
like the Appalachian
excursion,
Trail.
or-
I'm going to say no. You're more of like an Appalachian Trail mountain club kind of.
Taking some time off to just
Adirondack
be with
shelter.
nature kind of thing?
Exactly. I'm going to guess you were with a good buddy of yours, and at some point though he had to bail. Maybe he hurt his leg, or he was getting married, or something. And then you were on your own for like 200 miles. That's
Just me in the open road. No. Actually, after college, I ended up taking an internship, kind of expanding my internship, and was able to connect with a small marketing firm to start working there.
Great.
And that's kind of how I was able to build up some experience, because I know one of the things as a college graduate you enter in is this conundrum where you're looking for jobs, and a lot of the jobs that are available, even entry-level ones, they want some sort of experience.
Right.
So without some sort of internship or anything, it's hard to get that experience.
And that's one reason that we at the Workforce Investment Board have started the Job One Coalition, Work Readiness, Youth Work Readiness Coalition, to help spur on and foster greater work readiness opportunities, whether it's summer jobs, internships, co-ops, And that's one of the reasons I think technical high schools these days are doing so well.
Oh,
The
exactly,
young
yeah.
people get a chance to get out there, have a co-op experience, get some real world, get to see how their education relates to the real world, and then bring that back. So it's one reason I think that they're doing so well in terms of graduation rates and student retention. And so they're also doing quite well with MCAS. Having their students pass MCAS and go on to even higher ed. So it's not necessarily the old traditional for vocational students, that they necessarily just go from there into the workplace. A lot of them do still, but a fair number, go on to secondary education, post-secondary education, whether it's even further short-term education, like Stephen Budd had talked about, around certificates or whatever. Yeah. So
what about a young Jeff Turgeon? What did a young Jeff Turgeon do after college?
Well,
the market was a little bit different then.
You've got to read the
way
backstory.
back then.
You've got to come up with. I came up with my estimated summer after graduation experience for you. You've got to. Take a guess.
Maybe you and a friend explored the .com bubble and had Jeff.com, where you would just have these funny videos of you and your friend.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we had like the internet back when I graduated college. I think we did. It was very text kind of. There wasn't much video work being done.
Okay. MS DOS kind of.
Yeah, but I was. It was called Sock. You were very close. It was called sockpuppet.com, and my friend and I, we would do sock puppet theater.
Yep.
On the internet. Didn't last for some reason.
Didn't take off.
It didn't take off like we thought.
Wasn't a huge market for. It was probably too soon. I mean, if you did something like that nowadays, I'm sure it would take.
Legendary, yeah, it'd be huge. But alas, it didn't work. No, I actually, in reality, went down Cape Cod and worked.
Cool.
For 2 summers,
Cool.
I was lucky enough to find employment down the Cape, and I worked at a hotel. I was their night watchman / security guy. I would say that I was kind of like the night guy.
Did
Just
you
like
get a
it just did
taser
it all,
or a
but
gun or pepper spray
there
or
was
something?
no taser. I had a broom. I had a broom. I would test the pool water, make sure that was okay, and I would be available if there was any kind of.
Somebody loses their key or can't get in their room or something.
That
Can't
kind
turn
of
the
stuff.
AC on.
I was just kind of like I was a little bit of everything, handyman. I was just kind of there, and so that was like Monday through Thursday or Sunday through Thursday. I had to kind of be on premises, but I got a free room there, free hotel room.
That sounds like a good gig for
Yeah,
for
not a bad
college
gig. And then
grad.
for the weekend, I could kind of go out a bit. So it was a great experience. Really got to meet some great people down there and had a lot of fun. So it was a good learning experience during and after college. So.
Cool.
And Dr. Zukowski, what about you, sir? Do you want us to guess?
Do you really want to know? Played tennis during the summer, the entire summer.
Professionally, you and
No, far from professionally. And then in August, began to prepare the classroom to go teach elementary school.
Oh.
I'm picturing you back then.
Long hair.
White shirt with white shorts on the tennis court.
Short.
With white sneakers
Far
and white
from
socks.
that. Far from that.
Really?
Yeah.
You were a rebel then on the tennis court.
Oh, yes, definitely.
People were like, "Here comes
Couldn't afford
Zukowski.
those.
Look at him with his tie-dye shirt and his
Couldn't afford it.
homemade sneakers."
His ponytail.
Ponytail.
Yeah, the ponytail and all that. Yes.
But wasn't traditionally tennis a very traditional game back then?
Yes, it was. But if you're not in the tournaments, you don't have to worry about how you dress.
So it's street tennis?
Street tennis, yeah. right on Vernon Street.
I'm
in
picturing like
between the
street tennis
cars.
like it's some sort of performance artist. Like it's called street tennis, and it's very extreme.
It's one of the
Who's got ponytails?
what then called the extreme
And
sport.
did you do the tournaments as well?
No.
Were you a really good tennis player?
No.
Who was the big tennis player back there? Like Gene Lavender or something. What was his name?
Have no idea.
Tall, kind of thin.
Around in New England, they were the Johnson brothers. They were really good. Really good
That sounds like
players,
a
you know?
tennis gang or something.
Yeah, they were. All right, moving on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
moving on. But the things you learn about people. I never knew you were really into tennis when you were. younger.
Well,
So
going on that summer job theme.
exactly.
We'll go to the.
Well, I did
mail-
want to follow up too with
okay.
graduates. One of the things that graduates inevitably want to get their first interview or get job interviews, and so there are there's some stories out there, and in talking to employers, kind of reinforces this. A lot of young college graduates go into these interviews unprepared.
Oh, okay. So they think I've got my college degree now. Next step is a job, but they kind of miss that. You got to prepare for the interview, talk about your strengths, your
Correct, and,
weaknesses.
and even just little things that they're doing that they don't recognize aren't appropriate for, the interview. So, for instance, you hear stories, human resources people or managers will report, college graduates coming in well underdressed for the interview. Certainly, there's in a lot of business environments, a lot of job environments, a very casual atmosphere these days, but there's still some expectation of showing up for the interview, not wearing flip-flops, for instance, or yoga pants. A lot of people...
Dress yoga pants?
yeah. Well, what would that entail, dress yoga pants? They're like a little piping on the side, maybe? Or
Pleats in the front.
pleats in the front, yeah. So, yes, sir, Dr. Zukowski.
What the graduates don't realize is there's an important service on every single campus, and that's career services that can help them with the resume, can help them with interviews. And they seem to ignore that whole thing. Maybe it's the Ike tradition. I know everything,
Yeah.
And they don't utilize those services on campus.
And speaking of that, I was lucky enough to be I'm a Worcester State University graduate,
I am too.
and so was lucky enough to be invited back by Mark Wagner and Jillian Anderson in their career services and community engagement departments to look at, and they also invited business leaders, to talk about what are some things that they can and could be doing to better prepare their young people. And so, these things like underdress. Another one is a big no-no is using your cell phone, your smartphone during the interview. So actually texting others while you're in an interview. That to me
Not gonna
seems like
work.
that would be a pretty obvious no-no, but apparently, I can just see like, so Sean, tell us what your strengths are and what you'd bring to the position, and you'd be like, oh my God.
It's OMG, Jim.
OMG. Right? So, boy, it just seems like that one would be kind of a no-brainer. But,
Definitely.
as the culture, the youth culture is kind of developed, these habits, have developed. And so, understanding that you need to break those habits for the half hour or so you're going to be in the interview is something that's important.
And I mean, there's a chance, too, that a student might have just been studying all year and not have time for a job. So this could be their interview for their first job. So a lot of times we get that kind of stuff out of the way with our first job.
And again, we're encouraging schools, both high school and higher ed, and other like alternative training programs through our Job One coalition to really foster more hands-on learning and getting young people in the workplace so they can see how things work, get to network, and get to understand the do's and don'ts around some of these things. There's always this dynamic, right, between you've got a youth culture and Generation X and now the next generation coming in and their preferences, what they want, and how they want to experience work, and then what the previous generations have set up for the work environment.
Right now we have 4 generations in the workplace working together.
Wow, I didn't. I guess I didn't realize that. So everything from the retired senior citizen who's coming back into the workplace to make a few dollars, make some ends meet. What
Right,
have
kind of
you,
at that retirement
busy.
age, but is kind of waiting before.
Yeah,
they retire.
I mean, maybe they've had a previous career, but they're coming back into the workplace, right? So they're working side by side with 3 other generations.
Yeah.
Wow. So, but in this dynamic, right? So you've got this tension between how much should a company change their culture and their values to accommodate the next generation coming through. And of course, the older school folks and older folks, like me are, they need to change, right? They need to understand the workplace, right?
Right.
And then you've got, the younger folks that know, I'm being me. You need to, I want to come in at 10 o'clock, right? So
Yeah.
there's that dynamic there, and some organizations, are making real changes to their culture, and I think others are looking to see whether that's good or not.
good model or
Should
not,
you
yeah.
have such a casual workplace that, hey, groovy man, I show up, do the work, and I don't know why I'm using the hippie voice, but apparently
works.
in my mind, that cult, the youth generation all talks like a bunch of hippies. Apparently, let's hear how you would personify
That's
that.
it. That's the
yeah.
one. Yeah.
No, but I mean, high tech companies,
No, I
right?
know, yep.
Who tend to target younger workers with very comfortable in technology and very kind of edgy in that way, right?
Yeah, I've got friends who work at graphic design firms where it's not unusual for them to have ping pong tables, and they don't have
Ping pong tables in the workplace.
exactly.
What the
Yeah.
heck you doing there?
And they have TV. I mean, it's just
But then again, I mean, on the other side, if you're playing ping pong all day, that's not particularly, unless you're a ping pong company. Maybe you're a ping pong tester. Maybe you're a cheese pounder, and I don't know. I mean, there needs to be a balance there, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
certainly, but traditionally, people do coming into the job market until they're in a position to change that culture themselves when they move up the ranks and become the manager, become the boss. They really, if they want to be employed in that area, they need to at the very least, understand that they need to look around and figure out if they're going to conform or not. Now, their choice is not to conform and to start their own company, to do whatever, to go into another line of work, but at least understanding, I think there's unfortunately a fairly sizable amount of students, not necessarily the majority by any means, but a sizable portion that don't understand that they don't even understand. That they don't necessarily look around at all and see that they're out of place at a job interview wearing flip-flops. And they just walk away saying,
it was
that
them.
person didn't like
Yeah,
me.
right.
They're obviously that companies are, without understanding why there was a mismatch. Hey, it's fair enough if they walk away going, man, they don't like flip-flops.
Right.
That's not the job for me.
Right. They walk in, they see they're dressed up, they have nice dress shoes on, they say, okay, I missed the boat on that,
Yeah, as long as they understand it, then at least they get it and they can decide where to go from there. It's the young people that haven't been necessarily kind of informed on what to look for and how to look for it and why it's important to understand it, and then you can relate it to your values.
Yep.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
So I think we're ready to move on to our mailbag segment. Bob, do you have the jingle? Do you have the jingle? Can you sing the jingle? The mail.
No, you don't want me to sing the jingle. Just want to remind the people it's 12:39 and it's studio time, and they're listening to The Working Lunch on WCUW 91.3 FM, and it's heard every fourth Wednesday of the month because some months have 5 Wednesdays.
That's correct. So it's not the last Wednesday necessarily.
It's the fourth.
Yeah, it makes it harder to say. Doesn't really flow off the tongue as easily. But what are you going to do?
Well, we're making do. It's the sacrifices we make for our work here.
It's all about understanding.
So let's go. I'm a little disappointed though that we haven't been able to come up with some sort of like mailbag, bing bing,
That works.
speedy delivery,
can
something
use
like
that.
that. Just
Very
something
good.
to designate that
Yep.
we're moving into the mailbag section of the show.
All right. Very good.
Moving into that section, Sean,
There
take
we
it
go.
away.
Yeah. So we've got a question here from Lois in Quahog, Rhode Island.
Wait. Where was that?
Quahog, Rhode Island.
I think.
Quahog?
And what's the name?
Lois.
I'm thinking you've been had, sir. Hopefully this is a real. You've pre-screened the question, obviously.
Yeah, it's a good question.
But
I
I'm
think we should
thinking
go-
Lois and Quahog. That to me, Quahog, Rhode Island, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a character, a fictitious character from Family Guy, the
Family
show,
Guy.
the TV
Oh, yeah,
show.
okay.
There's a TV show on television called The Family Guy.
Somebody's getting funny with us, but it's a good question, so we could move along with it.
Well, Lois, if that's your real name.
It's funny too because she talks about her teenage son in the question. So
Oh, and in the show they have a teenage
yeah,
son.
Chris is the. But
Oh,
anyways,
Jace, huh? That's my Peter Griffin impersonation. So go ahead.
so Lois writes, I need to have my teenage son busy this summer and not just sitting around the house playing video games. Can you offer some advice on how to get him a summer job? So
That
I think
actually
this
is a very timely and relevant
right.
question.
I've heard a lot of
so-
people talking about this, and like you
Well,
said,
we get these calls all the time. Not necessarily from Lois.
right.
but-
And especially we just had the job fair, the summer job fair with Worcester State University.
That's right. It had had a few hundred young people go. We had I think over 40 companies
Yeah,
and
who
organizations,
had
including summer
jobs,
jobs. Yeah, including many with summer jobs. So what do we want to tell Lois from Quahog?
Yeah, I spoke with some of the people upstairs, and they were saying that one of the things you can do is when you use a job search board, you can type in the keyword seasonal or summer, and that'll help kind of
Narrow some of that down.
yeah, narrow some of
Temporary
it
is
down.
another keyword. Now, just to mention too, there's some great job boards out there, but one of them that's really been revamped and augmented and kind of vastly improved is the Mass Job Quest system. So that's the state's workforce system. It's actually we've partnered up with the conference board, who has over 50 years experience in culling want ad information. Help wanted information. So it's a service called Help Wanted Online that we've brought into the fold with Mass Job Quest. And so that any given time right now, there's approximately over 80,000 job vacancies listed on Mass Job Quest.
And that's searchable. They can
It's
type a
searchable by different
keyword.
keywords and different,
Industries and-
geography, industry, and all that. You can really kind of filter out. And so obviously with 80,000 plus openings, you do need to filter out. And so, like you said, one of the things you might want to look for is, seasonal or other summer jobs or whatever. So to separate that by those keywords.
Yeah, the other thing they can do is, as Bob had kind of mentioned before, you can connect with your career services at school, guidance office at high school. A lot of times, if somebody has an opening, they might post it with a guidance officer, or if they have an internship or a volunteer opportunity, they might.
I know at that meeting at Worcester State University, we had there was a representative there from Imperial Distributors.
Yeah.
And she was saying, they actually have a hard time filling some of their summer job slots. And so, it seems a little bit counterintuitive with all the, the young people out there looking for summer jobs. They have some seasonal positions, so.
Yeah. The other some advice, you can network. So I think if you actively kind of network and talk with people, kind of make it well known that you're looking for a summer opportunity, you never know if you might be able to make a connection with somebody.
Yeah, really talk it up. Bob, when you were younger, in your tennis days, did you ever go to summer camp, tennis camp or anything?
No, none of this. Earlier was Treasure Valley.
Oh, okay.
Treasure Valley was the place to go.
That's the Boy Scout camp?
Boy Scout camp, yes.
Sure. So, but you've got a lot of summer camps out there, and if you grew up going to a summer camp, you should be reaching out to them.
Yep.
And those organizations that run those programs to see, right now you're probably on the tail end. You're probably a little bit too late, actually. That's why we did our summer jobs fair, about a month or so previous to this. But hey, you never know. Maybe someone backed out. Maybe there's a position open. Maybe they're starting a new program or opening up new, with new enrollments, maybe into their summer camps. So you want to really reach out and spread the word there too, network there. So.
And the final piece of advice I was given was to do mock interviews in advance. So this kind of goes to what you were talking about earlier, Jeff, is you should be prepared because a lot of times youth will go into an interview and they'll ask a question and they don't have any sort of answer. So a lot of times if you practice this stuff, you can kind of come up with your strengths and your weaknesses ahead of time.
Okay, so and there's so many people out there looking, as you know, it's a teen I'm just giving word here to Dr. Communication here with our producer extraordinaire that it is about 12:45, so we're going to be coming up on another break. So you want to let me know that we'll be breaking in a minute after this segment.
Yeah.
But so those summer jobs are just so important these days for that work readiness experience and for getting people there. And I should mention too, we coordinate the funding for the YouthWorks summer job program that's state funded. And right now, I want to thank our state delegates. The representatives have been, wonderful for that. State senators as well have offered their support. Right now, we're looking at, some potential cuts there to those
Right.
programs. You take that with the private sector also having a challenge in bringing on summer employees. It really adds up to, again, continue another summer of very dismal employment figures for young people. And
Right.
so if folks out there listening or watching, have an interest in this, we would love to have them, contact their state senators and representatives and let them know that summer jobs, is an important program and that, we'd like to see that, funded. So right now there's a supplemental budget request for this year to hopefully augment this summer. And then we're also working. They're also working hard on the FY14 budget statewide. So that line items is also a big one. So
Yeah, so hopefully next month we have some good news as we hear more word
it's
about
all-
that.
It's just, I think the bottom line is it's very difficult to have a prepared and ready workforce if young people are not experienced in work. You can read about it. You can watch videos. You can talk about it with mentors. You can do all those other things. But being in a work environment is probably the number one thing you can do to prepare yourself for the work environment, right?
Right.
So, okay, Dr. Zagowski, I think we're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be back with...
Hello, this is Bob Zukowski, and I'm inviting you to join me on Saturday and Sunday afternoons for Polka Party from 2 to 4, right here on WCUW Worcester.
Really?
Okay, so we're back. Boy, that I've caught your show on the weekends, Dr. Zukowski, Bob Zukowski. Great polka music, and not just traditional, straight up, polka. Well, how would you call traditional polka? Is it?
There's your traditional polkas and alternative polka.
Yeah. So
The
it's
new
the
stuff.
Yeah, the new stuff is they actually a lot of cover of very popular rock and roll songs and
Yeah.
others. So.
Yeah, I listen to it too. I actually get it in Douglas as well.
So, Sean, we have an interview here that we're going to air. Did you want to introduce that at all, or?
Yeah, the business services representatives who all the career centers around the state have a staff member who will connect with businesses to kind of
It's their job to go out and talk to business.
and they'll post job openings. So we've got the customer side, which is some of these workshops and everything, but we have also got the business side as well. So they had a conference earlier, and they invited some employers and other BSRs to kind of network and talk about everything. So Jeff had a couple minutes to sit down with them, so we can go right to that.
Okay, we're here with Ken Messina, the Rapid Response Business Service Engagement Manager for Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Ken, can you tell us a little bit about today's event?
Well, we're very happy to have this event today where we pulled together all of the different BSRs and folks that visit businesses every day. I think it's crucial that we all talk, we all collaborate on all of our services, and what we're really trying to do here today is to pull all those services together so we have a consistency when we're going out and visiting businesses.
I know there's a number of different agencies and programs represented. Can you speak a little bit about some of the variety of services that are available to businesses in the state?
Sure. There's quite a few here today. We're very happy to say that we have the Workforce Training Fund, entrepreneurial services, entrepreneurial training programs that they have. We have the WorkShare program, which is a great program. It's an alternative for businesses that might be experiencing a downturn, that might think they have to lay people off. And with this particular program, you can actually set up a WorkShare account, and they would be able to keep their skilled workers down during a slow period. We have the DIA grants situation going on, or the DIA grants folks that are here as well, $25,000 for workplace safety grants. It's just been a great show, I think, so far, with all the different programs that we have out there to help.
Great, and I know that we also had some employers come and speak.
Yes, we did.
Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've learned from their perspective?
Sure. We had Blaisdell Insurance today. We also had, I think it was Red Barn Oven Roasters coffee here as well. I think the importance that we heard from the employers basically was that we need to get out there, we need to embrace the employers, we need to make sure that they understand what we're doing, being honest what we do, get back to them in a timely fashion. I think that we saw the benefits of all the services that we can offer them. There were some pretty good examples of how we connected with some of the different services that we had.
Well, thank you for your time, and it seems like it's been a fascinating and very interesting conference today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, we're here with Dave Gadaire, the Executive Director of CareerPoint one of the career centers in Massachusetts, and that's located in
Holyoke.
in Holyoke, Mass. So, and you're also one of the business service conference planners and leaders today, right?
Yeah, I'm one of the original people on the Merlot committee, and I'm also on the Extended Business Employment Engagement Committee. So those are the two groups coming together.
So Merlot, that's an acronym, Massachusetts Employer Relations.
Employer Relations Learning Opportunity Team.
There we go, excellent. Easier just to say Merlot, I guess.
Yeah.
So can you talk to us a little bit about today's event and the importance of bringing folks together?
Well, there's a couple of things that come to my mind. One is it's one of the places where you can really start to break down the silos of how we do business engagement. We talk about breaking that down all the time, but it's not going to happen politically or fiscally. It's going to happen from the ground up. What I love about this conference and these two committees is these are really based on the frontline people that are the ones doing the direct service with the business community. So they're the ones that ultimately make it happen. Bringing them all together from all the different agencies really starts to kind of force feed that one customer, one point of contact, that mentality.
It's great to have them have a basic awareness of all the different services that are out there. I know we've had representatives from a number of different agencies talk about the services. So appreciate all the work that you're doing. And I know you're going to get back into the conference. So thanks for taking a couple minutes to speak with us.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Okay, well, we're back. So that was a really neat event.
Yeah, so you got to attend the event, and you have any comments or?
No, it's just great to kind of connect with, have those folks come together, chat with business about what those needs are, recognize and understand, the different services that are out there and offered to business, so that they can help connect those businesses with those services that are available. So, we've often talked about the changing workplace and what's employment trends and what's happening in the world with work. And there's an interesting op-ed or interesting article by Thomas Friedman in the New York Times. Yeah, it's a couple weeks ago now. It was. I think the title is the rise of the 401k world, or it's a
401k one. Yep.
Yeah, it's a 401k world. So 401k being the retirement plan system that's based around people basically stashing money aside for themselves and planning for their own retirement, maybe matched to some extent by an employer contribution. So it's called a defined contribution plan style retirement system. You go back 20, 30, 40 years ago, we were in the majority of jobs that had a retirement plan attached to it had what was more of a defined benefits plan, which was your standard, okay, you retire, you get a monthly allotment, a monthly check.
Okay.
Going forward in retirement. And so that benefit was defined. Right now, what's defined is your contribution. So much more. So Thomas Friedman kind of connects the rise of the 401k with other changes, other trends in society where more and more, it's kind of framed, we need to take ownership of our own lives, of our own careers, of our own, advancement, if you will, our own stability, our own safety, our own,
And we have the opportunity to do so with, the rise of the internet and everything's at our fingertips now.
Boy, it's funny you mention that, because I read another article I was going to mention that I don't think you've seen, or maybe you have, judging by that comment about how the internet. I think it's something to the effect of how the internet destroyed the middle class, and it's a book that's come out, and so there's an article about the book, and it talks about a similar trend around how. The author makes the point, well, if you look at Kodak, in its heyday, it employed, almost 150,000 people supporting photography and the processing of photographs and everything. And now, you look at the internet-based digital photography world, and you've got like small tech companies that support like digital photography, whether it's not just the camera makers, but also you've got like these websites,
like Instagram,
Tumblr, Instagram. they employ like 3 people, 4 people.
Yeah.
So just the dissolution of those very stable middle-class jobs due to the rise of technology and efficiencies, and specifically the internet and the internet-based economy. So he kind of talks about how, so this author, not Thomas Friedman, but this other author, talks about how, okay, I'm a YouTube artist, musician trying to make money off the YouTube, instead of signing with a traditional like record label. Yeah, you have more,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
you have
so
more freedom and
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
but you have a very tough time making an actual living off of that.
But I think the flip side of that is, which he kind of talks about, which Friedman talks about,
Yeah.
is that you have the ability to kind of self-educate. If there was something you wanted to learn about, it's at the tip of your fingers. You can pull out your phone and you can search
Sure.
something really quick.
One of the I guess it's a pretty controversial article. I think folks should read it for themselves. One thing I walked away not understanding, not knowing, is whether Thomas Friedman, is advocating for this change or just reporting it without being neutral.
Yeah, I kind of felt that same way
Same way what?
as you did. Like which direction he was really going with
Because
his
he
article.
seems to be cheerleading it. At the same time, he doesn't necessarily come out and say it's a good thing, and he does highlight some negative impact, but it doesn't. It seems like he's a bit wishy-washy on not wishy. Maybe that's not the best way to describe it, but I didn't get a sense of whether So he's talking about these changes. It seemed like he was talking about them in a positive way.
Yeah.
Which there are some positive advantages to the changes.
Well, I think he just kind of says that it's positive if somebody's kind of a go-getter and will utilize what's out there.
Or has time. I mean, who does that advance? I mean, if you're trying to make ends meet, do you really have time at the end of the day to go and do an internet,
Speaking of
class?
time, I'm hearing the working lunch song coming on, so I think we're running out of time here.
That's a great segue. So with that, I want to thank Bob Zukowski, our producer extraordinaire. Thank Jessica and the team at the Cable Services for filming this and helping us get the various interviews together. And thank
the
you,
listeners.
and the listeners as well. So you have spent another perfectly good hour, as folks at friends at Car Talk
Thanks
say,
for joining us.
listening to the show. Thanks, and we'll see you next month.
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no